About 2 years ago, I found out my wife was cheating. That was the first D-Day. It wrecked me. I found messages between her and a guy she worked with, and when I confronted her, she didn't deny it but said it didn't go beyond the text. She said she was stressed, lonely, unappreciated, all the usual stuff. I was a mess back then. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't think. We had just moved states away for a better life. We had upended our lives, moved thousands of miles away from our families. There was no money, no support network, and our daughters were still trying to find some footing with their school and new friends. So I stayed. I told myself we could fix it. I put in real effort. I believed she did too. She knew what was at stake. We got through a rough patch. There were moments that felt like the old us. Took a vacation with the kids when the money situation got better. We had date nights again. She got more affectionate. I thought it was working. I thought we were healing. I didn't know I was the only one actually trying. Fast forward to now. I had a gut feeling for weeks. Extra effort with appearance. More time out of the house in the evenings, etc. One night I asked her to video call me out of the blue when she said she was out getting groceries. She refused. Gave me some excuse about the connection and being in a rush. That's when I knew. What confirmed it was her laundry. Dumb, I know, but I have a bad allergy to cats. I found cat hair on her pants and shirt. She hadn't even bothered to clean her clothes properly. I asked her about it, showed her the pants. She started crying, went on about how she made a mistake and how she was confused, then pivoted into how I had made her feel trapped over the last few months. She said she'd been wanting to bring up the idea of an open relationship for a long time, but didn't think I'd ever agree to it. That's true, I wouldn't. We already had that conversation years ago. Monogamy was the line. I guess she figured she'd just do what she wanted anyway. I told her I was done, not as an empty threat. I said the words and meant them this time. No more marriage counseling, no second chances. She moved out 2 days later. I've already spoken to a lawyer. We're doing a separation agreement now, which in our state kicks off the 1-year countdown to divorce. She still texts. Calls sometimes too. Says she's never stopped loving me, that she's willing to give up anything to fix us. But all I hear is more manipulation. She doesn't actually think she did anything wrong. She's upset because she got caught again, and now the consequences are real. She's never said she'd understand if I didn't want her back. It's always, how can I make you forgive me? Never, I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm tired. Tired of playing detective. Tired of being lied to and then told I'm cold for not wanting to keep trying. She keeps seeing him too. Still denies it, even now. But she's not good at hiding her tracks. I've seen her car parked outside his apartment more than once since she moved out. She says she's just trying to sort her feelings. Feels like she already made her choice a long time ago. Our daughters ask questions. I tell them mommy needed her own space for a while. I'm trying not to let my anger bleed into how I talk about her with them, but it's hard when you know she's smiling and pretending with them, then running back to him and his fat cat the second the door closes behind her. I'm not looking for pity. I found it to be a useless emotion. I just want to feel less crazy, less alone. I want to feel like I belong somewhere. Update. She's out, technically staying with her sister, but I know that's not the only place she goes. I've seen her car parked at his place enough times to stop questioning it. She doesn't even bother hiding it properly anymore. Just gaslights when I bring it up. The separation papers are signed on my end. Her response was predictable. Do you really want to throw away all these years? And can't we try one more time? She keeps sending long messages that jump between apologizing, blaming me, and talking about how miserable she is. It's all about how she's feeling, how hard this is for her. Not once has she asked if I'm okay or how the girls are handling everything. She just wants reassurance that I still care. I told her directly that I'm not interested in reconciling. I said we can figure out a custody plan and work out the rest through lawyers, and she responded by saying I was being cold and transactional. Maybe I am. Maybe that's all I've got left in me when it comes to her. Then came what I can only describe as a stunt. She showed up at the house with takeout one night, just walked in without saying anything first. Said she missed us. Tried to talk like nothing was wrong. Tried to sit next to me on the couch. When I didn't engage, she got defensive and said I was being cruel for pushing her away after she was finally ready to do things right. I had to ask her to leave. She went out to the car crying and sat there for 20 minutes before finally driving off. I stood in the kitchen the whole time just waiting. After that, I changed the locks. I texted her and let her know she's not to come by unless we've scheduled something for the kids, and she lost it. Said I was trying to erase her from the family. I'm not. I just want peace. I want consistency for my girls, and I want her drama somewhere else. I also found out that the guy she's seeing, or was seeing, is married. I didn't know that before. Found his wife's IG through some old photos. She doesn't post often, but there was a family vacation pic from a month ago, tagged at the same time my wife said she was on a work trip. I haven't said anything to his wife. Not sure if I will. That's not really my battle, but part of me feels like she deserves to know. Anyway, I've stopped looking for reasons. I've stopped needing her to tell the truth. The truth's already there in her actions. I used to want a clean break, some confession where she'd finally admit to it all, cry, and apologize for real. I don't anymore. That fantasy kept me stuck. But I'd be lying if I said I'm unaffected. I'm wrecked in ways I didn't expect. The comparison game won't stop. The guy she cheated with, 24, blonde, ex-college football player, fit, confident, pretty much the opposite of where I've been physically the past few years. She once told me years ago that she had a thing for blonde guys. That sentence lives rent-free in my head now. I know it's not about looks, but it's hard to separate. I look at myself and all I see is a guy she settled for. A guy who got older, softer, stressed, distracted. Meanwhile, she chased a younger version of the fantasy. I keep imagining how it was with him, what they did, how she acted, how loud she got. I hate myself for thinking this way, but I do, all the time. It plays like a movie in my head that I never asked to watch. I've been throwing myself into the gym, haven't missed a day since D-Day. I've lost 6 pounds in a week. I know that's not sustainable. I'll slow it down. But right now, I need to see something change. I need some part of my life to show progress, to feel like I'm not just sitting here eating this betrayal in silence. This whole thing has turned me into someone I don't recognize. Angry, ashamed, insecure, obsessive. But I'm trying to find the edges of that, trying to remember who I was before this all started. The divorce is happening. I just wish we didn't have this separation period. Mentally, emotionally, physically. I feel like I'm fighting a war on all sides and barely holding the line for my kids. They're the only thing keeping me grounded. If anyone has been through this kind of mind game, comparing yourself to the affair partner, dealing with sex after betrayal, cycling through rage and shame and hurt, I'd appreciate hearing how you got through it. Or even if you didn't, I just don't want to feel this crazy alone anymore. Comments, I've been where you are, and I just want to say what you're feeling is valid. The comparisons, the mental images, the constant questioning, it's all part of the trauma. It messes with your self-worth. You didn't deserve this, and none of it is a reflection of your value as a man or a partner. Keep hitting the gym, but don't do it to be better than him. Do it to reclaim yourself. You're not in competition with anyone. You're already winning by walking away from someone who didn't respect you. You're not alone, brother. The mind movies is something many of us go through after betrayal, but you handled this better than most could. You didn't cave. You kept your boundaries. That takes grit. She can cry and spin her story, but you've already seen the truth. You're doing the right thing by focusing on your kids and your healing. Don't let the image of some 24-year-old punk define how you see yourself. He's not the one raising your daughters. He's not the one carrying the weight. You are, and that matters more than anything else. You say you're done, but you're clearly not. You're still letting her in emotionally, still obsessing over some 24-year-old guy like he's the problem here. At the end of the day, you slept on the consequences. She didn't just change overnight. You gave her a second chance and now you're surprised she did it again? You need to stop talking to her. Stop giving her space to cry on your shoulder and actually cut her off if you're serious about moving on. Otherwise, this whole post just reads like you're stuck because you want to be,